Hey everybody, I picked up a new locomotive the other day, and I like to look at pictures online to see how it's weathered, pictures of the prototype. And when I was doing that, I noticed that this one has had been on fire at some point. It's CN2295, and yeah, the paint's burnt, so I'm thinking I'm going to try to model that. I've never done it before, so let's see what I can do. I'm a little nervous about it, but it's Tamiya paint, so if I screw up bad enough, I can just wipe it off with some alcohol. But let's see what I can come up with. So there's the model. It's a Fox Valley ES44DC. Looking through pictures to see if it's still running around, if it's been wrecked, or how badly it's weathered. I noticed that it's been on fire, and I think I'm going to try to model that. It'll give this one a bit of a unique appearance. I have another one just like it, 2297, and it'll make this one stand out a little bit from that one, if I can pull it off. I've just Google searched images of CN2295, and yeah, I noticed this. It's obviously had a fire at some point. I think I can do it with some thinned out white paint and a little rail brown maybe on that side. And then on this side, a little bit of white paint and a lot of thinned out rail brown. So we'll see. I've got a few pictures. There's a shot of the roof. This is about as good of a shot as I could hope to find. It shows where the burn marks are and everything, so I've tried to copy that as best I could. Alright, I'm going to start with this side. It's got a little bit of white paint thinned out in my little paint pocket there. I used fairly opaque paint because you could see the C through the scorched paint, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it. So I didn't want to go too thick with the white paint because I wanted to be able to see the C, the top of the C. I was using pictures. There was 6 doors across this part of the hood, and I could see on the model where the 6 doors were, so I just kind of, okay, this door, the paint or the scorch marks are kind of shaped like this, and on that door the scorch marks are kind of shaped like this, and they go down about that far, and that's pretty much just how I made progress. When I first started, I didn't have a very good picture of the roof, but I could see that it was just basically the first panel or two that were scorched. A big section in the middle wasn't. So I just kind of went with that, and I found a better picture later, but I found I hadn't really, I wasn't too far off from the other picture I used as a reference. Now this is the other side. It's just got the little scorch mark, but it's a heavier scorch mark. You'll see in some of the pictures that I put up of the prototype, the big like brown scorch mark isn't as big as it is on the model, but it seems to have changed because I have different reference photos. Some show it's like just a big brown spot, others show it's a smaller spot with more burnt paint, so I imagine it started out as a big white scorch mark, and as the paint failed and got weathered, it just gradually turned darker. And I'm not saying I got this perfect, like exact, but I think I got the feel of it. I'm kind of proud of it. I don't think I did too bad. Here I'm starting the brown. I used Tamiya paint almost exclusively. I think this was linoleum deck brown, and I mixed it with a little bit of red brown, although I'm not sure that that was really necessary. I'm slowly figuring out this software. I've had it for years. It's Studio 23, Corel Studio 23, I think. And I've had different versions since I think Studio 8 or something. It came with some device I bought. But this software will do way more than I need it to. Sometimes it's hard. I know what I want to do. I just don't really know how to get the software to do it. But yeah, I was able to figure out how to put a picture over top of another picture and then make it smaller, and then zoom it in and then make it smaller. So it's a little bit of progress. I'd like to experiment with a green screen. I know it can separate an image from a green screen, but I don't have a green screen. I've never tried. Here I've come back to the first side I did with a little bit of the brown paint now. It didn't have very big scorch marks. It was mostly just faded paint. Oh yeah, I used tweezers to scrape some of the paint off of where I didn't want it. I thought maybe I would just use some alcohol to take the paint off, but well, let me try these tweezers. They'll give me a sharper edge than what I would get with the paintbrush, and yeah, it worked. I was able to shape the scorch marks to be a little bit more of what I was looking for. Scrape, scrape, scrape. And just a little dot there with a toothpick. A little bit of failed paint there. I used Model Master Rust. I really like that color, but it's a little too orange, so I think I mixed it with a little bit of brown. I know I didn't use it just straight out of the bottle on this. I think I made the brown that I already had a little bit more rusty with that paint. I never really know what to expect mixing brands like that. I've screwed up big time before. Newsflash, don't mix True Color paint with Tamiya paint. They both just turn into a glob of goo. Yeah, here I wasn't too happy with the brown. It just seemed too uniform, so I put like a wash of black paint, super thinned out black paint over the brown. Just trying to change the color a bit. That looks like I'm using a bit of the red there again, the rust. I use my airbrush for general weathering. I like the control I can get with it. So here I was spraying a little bit of white to give it a fade, and yeah, I'm never sure if my paintbrush is actually blowing paint or not, so I'll take the bottom of the tank and spray on the bottom of the tank just to make sure I've got paint coming out and that it's actually visible against the paint, against the original paint. I like to use just very little bit of paint, very little paint coming out, and I've got it super thin down. You saw me there I used a little bit of brown. It was that linoleum brown again, and I used that to dusty up the trucks, and now I'm spraying gray to dusty up the trucks and underframe. And I've got some Bragdon weathering powders little sample kit, and I really like the product. I'm probably gonna, when I run out of colors, I'm probably gonna buy full bottles of it instead of these little samples. I've used Pant Pastels before, and I do like them. They have a place, but if you put them on a model, they're just gonna wear off as you handle the model, and if you clear coat them, they just disappear. Whereas these Bragdon powders, they don't disappear. You may lose a little bit, but it's not like with Pan Pastels, they completely disappear with a little bit of a clear coat. So I use them for weathering ballast and buildings and stuff, things that I'm not gonna be handling. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed watching. If you want to follow along as I build this layout and see what other stuff I get up to, why don't you hit the subscribe button for me, and throw my video a like if you enjoyed it. And if you see anything that I could do to improve, let me know. I'm all ears. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.